The 9-year-old girl killed in yesterday's knife attack has been named as Alice Aguiar. She has become the third child to die after the Southport stabbings, Merseyside police have confirmed.
Well, this tragic news comes as tributes continue to flood in. The Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, laid flowers at the scene alongside Southport MP Patrick Hurley a little earlier today.
Merseyside police say a 17-year-old boy remains in custody following the ferocious attack.
Well, let's cross live now to GBNews reporters Sophie Reaper, who's at the scene, and Will Hollis, who is at one of the hospitals a little nearby. Let's start with Sophie. Sophie Reaper, this news, this naming, Alice Aguiar.
Yes, Tom, absolutely. That's in the last few moments we've heard that 9-year-old little girl, who we heard a short while ago had been announced as the third child to lose their life in this attack here in Southport yesterday. Now, we understand that it's the Portuguese government who've confirmed that Alice was a Portuguese national, her parents originally from Madeira, as well, that she was set to turn 10 in October of this year. So incredibly sad news there to put a face and a name to that 9-year-old who's lost her life. We've also heard from the police this afternoon that the other two children who lost their lives were a 6 and a 7-year-old girl. They, of course, were attending a Taylor Swift dance and yoga class here, just about 100 metres behind me on Hart Street in Southport. Now, there's been a steady stream of members of the local community coming here all throughout the morning and throughout the afternoon to lay flowers and tributes to those 3 little girls who sadly lost their lives. There's cuddly toys, there were candles that were lit, and now I would say at least 100 bunches of flowers. There's also a poem that I'd just like to read out that was left there. It's entitled Hope. It says, "The sun in all its wonder brings light to every path, yet in its former glory embraces every heart. Each day we take for granted the joy of what has passed, but today our pain of sadness has left a shadow cast. And through this devastation with tears can barely cope, our love to be ongoing, we cling to future hope." And I think that is a message that will be resonated throughout the entirety of Southport. Incredibly devastating news in the last hour or so that there are 3 young girls that lost their lives yesterday here in Southport. But I think people here will also cling to that sense of hope as they continue to try to support those families who will, of course, now be in grieving.
Sophie Reaper, thank you so much, and thank you too for sharing that moving poem left there by some of those grieving families who've been visiting.
Absolutely heartbreaking. We've got Will Hollis now with us at Alderhay Children's Hospital. Will, tell us more about what's been going on where you are and what the atmosphere is like there on the ground.
Yes, well, Alderhay is about 40 minutes away from Southport. This is in Liverpool, just outside of the city centre, and it was here that many of those young children, most of whom it's understood to be girls from that Taylor Swift dance class, were brought here. Some of them brought by Helimed services from the Merseyside as well as the wider Liverpool and Manchester region. We know from what we've heard that now 3 children have been confirmed to have died, but 5 children are in a critical condition. The trust that runs Alderhay haven't been able to confirm to us exactly how many children are critical inside of this hospital. We know that other hospitals around the region are being used as well, but we know that from what eyewitnesses say that certainly some of those children were brought here yesterday. It was the North West Ambulance Service who said that there had been a substantial response to the attack that happened yesterday when a man walked into into that Taylor Swift dance class, and as the police say, started attacking children and the adults who were there. We've heard from Yvette Cooper, who says that what has happened is unimaginable. It's unimaginable for the leaders of the country, but it's also unimaginable for the people here in Liverpool and around the region and country. And now, from what we've seen, this outpouring of grief on social media, as well as the star, who Taylor Swift, who the children were listening to, puts on her Instagram her thoughts, her condolences, and brings what is a big story for the UK to a much bigger audience, as the people here living in Liverpool and the wider region, Southport, try to make sense of what has happened in their community, but a much wider community try to make sense as well as to what has happened. We know still that the police, Merseyside police, are interviewing that 17-year-old male to try to figure out what the motive was. He's been arrested on suspicion of murder and attempted murder. We are waiting for some sort of a statement from the trust behind us that runs Alder Hey, and when we get that, we'll be bringing it to you.
Well, Will Hollis, thank you so much, and indeed to Sophie Reaper before as well. Thank you for keeping across this story for us as it continues to develop.